What's poppin', you guys? It's your girl SJ, and I'm here with my good homie.
Jeff.
And today we have another Oscar choisi for you. That my French was awful, but we have another Oscar pick for you this week. It's called Maestro, and it stars Bradley Cooper. Jeff had something to drink that he didn't like, but that's all right. Anyways, guys, stay tuned and as we review Maestro for you. Welcome back, guys. It's your girl SJ, and I'm here with my good pal Jeff. And this week we have another Oscar choice for you. We are doing Maestro, and it is nominated for a Best Picture this year. Jeff, what do you got? Give us a skinny on this one.
Well, it had a budget of $80 million and it brought in at the box office just under 500,000. I'm not sure if it was a widespread release. It looks like it wasn't a very big release, so I'm not sure where they plan on making the money from.
I wonder if this was a TIFF. A lot of these Oscar movies, because I think Killers of the Flower Moon started at Toronto Film Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
think I think it that's where it was first shown. So maybe
So
that's where.
it was written and directed by, well, it was directed by Bradley Cooper and it was written by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer. It stars Carey Mulligan, Bradley Cooper, and Matt Borner. Bomer.
Matt Bomber, Bomber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the road to the Oscars. So the nominations are Bradley Cooper, actor in a leading role, Carey Mulligan, actress in a leading role, cinematography, makeup and hairstyling, best picture, sound, and writing original screenplay. 7 nominations.
Okay. Okay. Should we get into it?
Yep.
Should we get into the popcorn
I
paradise of it all?
I'm shocked. I actually found a popcorn paradise for this. I found one.
Okay, Jeff, give it. What is it?
Whoever did the makeup in this is amazing.
Okay, the old man makeup, old man Brad. I almost didn't recognize him.
It was amazing. The makeup in this, give it the Oscar now. It deserves it. They took Bradley Cooper from looking his middle age, 40-ish, 45-ish, 50, whatever his age is. They brought him down to his mid 20s. They brought him all the way up to late 60s, early 70s, maybe even 80s, depending on how old he is in the final couple scenes. You can't really tell. But
Yeah,
they age spanned this guy with makeup. This doesn't strike me as a very high CGI movie. So they
no.
did makeup. They aged him from 20 to 70, and they did an incredible job. Incredible.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the old man makeup. Terrific with the aging makeup for sure. Um,
And it wasn't just him, like everybody, like even his wife in the movie,
yep,
same thing.
the
Makeup on
hair, the
her was
makeup,
great. They made
they
her look
really
really
did.
young, then they made her look old. It was fabulous.
Yeah, they really did a good job at making you feel their age as you're going through the movie for sure. I also they kind of did the same thing with how they shot in black and white at the beginning. You notice they shot in black and white, and as we go through the years, they start to add more and more color. And I mean, we've seen this in other movies, but I think it was really effective in this movie, kind of cool. Um, Yeah, and I also liked so we talked about Brad Cooper, but I also liked seeing Sarah Silverman in this movie. Did you notice her in this movie? She had
His
like a little
sister,
part.
his sister,
Yeah, yeah. His
yeah.
sister. So it was kind of nice to see her as not a comedian, like in kind of a not comedian role.
She
Uh,
was still she was still a very extrovert character. Like
Right,
she
right, right.
wasn't, she was loud in the
She
movie.
wasn't conventional. She
Yeah.
wasn't like
Yeah.
a conventional type character.
She didn't
Yeah,
really, it was like she was the outcast in that cast. She did
yeah,
like she was fine. Like I'm not saying she didn't belong in the movie, but
right, right.
everyone else just seemed to be like this prim and proper acting and for the most part, and then it was her who was kind of this loud, which is fine. It's
And
okay.
boisterous. Um, yeah, and going, I want to talk more about Bradley Cooper. I want to say, like, I was surprised. I mean, obviously, Bradley Cooper, we've seen him in a bunch of things, and he's a good actor. We all know he's a good actor, right? But to be honest with you, I've never really cared too much for him. Like, I'm just like, whatever, you know?
Yep.
Um, I feel like he's a method actor, though. I feel like he studied the crap out of Leonard Bernstein before he went into this. I mean, obviously, he's directed it and he's written it, so he must have like a true love of this composer, this music composer. I don't know how musical he is. I know he did that other movie with Lady Gaga that was A Star Is Born,
Yep.
and yeah, so he must be really into music then, in order to write something like this. I feel like Bradley Cooper does a great job at showing this composer and how complex of a person he is. I would say this is my biggest popcorn paradise. Um,
He
and towards
wrote
the ending,
he wrote and directed A Star Is Born.
oh, did he do
Yeah.
that as well?
Yeah. Same as this
Okay, so
movie. Yeah. Wrote and
he
directed.
must really love music because he keeps picking these projects, to work on. But um yeah, and towards the ending, his wife shows up at one of his shows, and you can definitely see the love between the two of them. They do a really good job at showing that. Um, I feel like Brad Cooper is the best part of this movie, to be honest with you, and I think he is deserving of kind of an Oscar. That's kind of one of my popcorn paradises. Like, I feel like his acting deserves to be nominated as a actor in that category for sure. Jeff, do you have any popcorn paradise?
I have no other popcorn paradise for this movie. Sorry.
Ay, ay, ay.
The
Okay.
makeup, the makeup was it.
Okay. There was also a scene. I have like I'm just looking at my notes here, and it says, not knowing that Leonard Bernstein was gay, I noticed that from the beginning they had these little moments between some of the male characters, and I was like, um, what are they trying to imply? It wasn't quite clear, but then they were like rubbing on feet and stuff like that, and I
Flat out
kind of,
just straight up kissing guys
well,
when
after, as we
right?
get into it a
Yeah.
little bit more,
And
you
there's
kind of
nothing wrong with that. That's not
no,
there's nothing
no,
wrong with that.
I
Completely
just
down for
didn't
that.
know where they were going with it at first. Like, because I didn't know anything about this character. Apparently, he was openly gay, even though he was married, and he still wanted to be married and with a family. And he loved his wife, but he still had this other life that, she might have known about. We don't know. Apparently, he didn't hide that he was gay, but he also didn't advertise it, right? So I found that interesting, that he had like a bit of this double life, and so you really start to see that probably when he once he meets his wife, and they're kind of settled in a little bit, and I think married, then you start to see these little things coming out where you're going, oh. And I felt bad for her because I'm like, how I could never be with someone like that.
But she didn't
He
bail.
wasn't.
She stuck
No,
by.
she didn't, which was kind of nice because back in the day, I feel like a lot of couples did that, even like through thick and thin, they just kind of held on. I must say, I like how they portrayed how passionate Leonard Bernstein was about his music. Like, that really came across loud and clear for sure. And you know what, Jeff? That's all I have for Popcorn Paradise, which is a lot. I think I gave it. I gave it a lot. Yeah. So shall we get shall we get into our popcorn present, Jeff? Ooh, here we go. Come on, bring it out. Oh, okay.
This movie was boring. I'm not into that kind of
I don't
music.
know if you can I don't know if you can see my notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said these biography films are so boring. I
Yeah.
have a yawny face emoji,
Yeah.
and I said I can't do another one.
Yeah.
It was so boring. And
Yeah.
I knew, you know, after they showed that beginning scene where they introduce him and he's giving like this interview at the piano, I was like, and it was black and white. I'm like, I hope it's not black and white through the whole movie. And then my next thought was, God, if this is like Oppenheimer, I'm gonna poke my eyes out. Like there was just, and it wasn't like Oppenheimer. It was different. It wasn't as long. Felt like felt like I was aging with Leonard Bernstein.
There was a legit a point where I was watching in the movie and I'm just like, it was, I think I think it's when they were at the party and we first see his daughter
Oh
who is
yes.
grown up and
Mhm.
she's maybe a teenager or early 20s. And she was asking permission from her mom to be able to, I don't know if she's singing or what she was doing with this person. And at that point, I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting to the end. He's older, this is great. And, I we hit the remote and I look and I'm like, oh, there's still an hour and
Now
12
we're
minutes of
left.
this movie. I'm not even halfway through it. And I've already felt like I've watched it for 3 hours.
Oh God. I know. I definitely felt that way too. It was oh boy.
I
It was
want to say
long.
it this way. Look, Bradley Cooper, if you're watching, I understand that you put a lot of hard work into this. And I am not saying that your movie is trash. Your movie is nominated for 7 Oscars. Your movie is a great movie for somebody, but it's
Right.
not for me.
It's
It's not
not.
for me. I'm not going to pretend that it's for me.
It's
And
not for Jeff.
it's not. No, I'm sorry. This isn't a movie for me. It was
I
boring. It
would
was a snooze fest. I have to be entertained, and there was nothing entertaining about this. The
so I
only
feel like the last 45 minutes had a little something something, it like gave us a little something something. But prior to that, it felt like the like 3 hours in a day. It was draggy. Um yeah. Keep going, Jeff. What else you got?
no, everything
That was
other than the makeup. It's all of it.
okay. So let me touch on the makeup now.
And the acting, Brad's acting was great.
It was great. Terrific. There is no denying that Brad Cooper acted his butt off in this movie.
Yeah.
Respect, give him his flowers. I would be okay with that. I would be like, yeah, he earned it. But let's talk about the makeup now. So the makeup was good when he was like older and as they were aging and stuff. However, there were moments where they did like close-ups on it where I was scared. Like it was too much. Like you could tell there was like prosthetics on and stuff, and it just was scary. Reminded me like a witch in the woods gonna steal children or something. Like it was just it was weird. It was too much. But I must say, as he aged, that makeup looked more and more realistic to me. I don't know why it was like that, but it's just a little thing that I saw. It doesn't really take away. It's just I noticed that for sure. I also want to ask, like, is this a thing? They made it feel like every entertainer or anyone in like a theater or a composer or musically inclined, every man is gay in Hollywood or whatever industry they're in. They made it seem like that. And I felt like, is this how it is in Hollywood? Like I don't have a problem with it. Like believe me, I don't. I just found it very like the way they put it out there. I mean, maybe it's because that was his lifestyle, so we're seeing it from, and we're also seeing it from his point of view, I guess, because he's telling the reporters about his life. So maybe that's why we see that. But I listen, if it's, I don't know, is it like that? You guys tell me. I have no idea. But I found that interesting the way they portrayed that kind of the life, you know. Um,
I wonder if it's more of a just a um you hang out with your people. Like you're always around
right,
people and your type of people, and
right.
maybe that's just who he chose to hang out with.
Yeah, and I think because he's telling the story,
Hmm.
that's maybe why it seems that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it could be. It was just very interesting the way they, the way it came off. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. But I was just curious. I was like, is everyone? I mean, everyone in theater gay? No, no, can't be.
No
There's
idea.
also straight men that are in theater, right? Like that's not a stigma, is it? I have no idea. Anyways, moving on. Now I want to talk about the the old man parts, right? I thought the movie would have been a little more interesting if the old version of him had a little more presence in this movie, and they kind of went back and forth with him kind of doing the storytelling.
Okay.
Almost like a Titanic moment, I feel like, but the story is different. So, um, I just would have thought I just thought it would have been a little more interesting to see it. Because they show him as an old guy at the beginning giving the interview, and then they show him at the end giving the interview. And that's
Mhm.
all you kind of see of that part of his life, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. I mean, I know it implies that he's talking to the cameras, but I really didn't feel that way. So I don't know why they would have put the beginning part and the end part in. Like it just didn't make sense to me. But
I can get that. I can understand that.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, my last popcorn prison. And then you can add whatever you need to add. I felt like he mumbled a lot, and there were times when I didn't understand him, and especially when he had the cigarette in his mouth, and I was like, "Oh, no." Like, I wish I was gonna put the subtitles on, like, legit was gonna put the subtitles on. I was like, "Hmm, is this guy speaking English? Because I feel like I understood Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon better than him sometimes."
Yeah, no, it was tough to hear him sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was a little more clear. Like, I wish there was, but maybe that's the way he spoke. I don't know, but I wish they would have found some way to make it a little clearer to understand in the movie. Oh,
My last popcorn prison, and this is more of a nitpick because I don't think, I mean, I'm not going to change anything. I don't think Hollywood's going to change, but man, there's a lot of smoking in these movies. Like he
well, I
was
think at that time it
smoking
was a,
nonstop.
yeah, and I think that's because I think that's what it was back in the day. Like it's
Sure,
not like now, but did they have
nonstop.
to put it in? Did they
Like
have to put
he
it?
has
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
cigarette in his
yeah.
hand the entire movie.
Yeah,
He
I
must
think.
be smoking like 3 packs a day, 4 packs a day.
Well,
Cause
you know what that is because okay, so they're he would be the generation after the war,
okay,
would he? I
sure,
think so. Don't quote
maybe.
me on that, but I think so. It's around that time. And I think the generation that was in the war, they smoked to get through their day, like chimneys, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
trenches. So when you see this next generation come up, I think they've spent that time watching the previous generation smoke their brains out, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And for legit reasons, I get it.
Yep.
But it's not like us, how like maybe our parents smoked, but maybe they didn't. Like it was less. you know. I mean, my dad smoked, but then we used to hide his cigarettes all the time. He used to get vexed with us, um, but like we don't. None of my sisters. I don't smoke. Like it's just not a thing for us, you know.
Yep.
But it's funny how you see that change through the generations for sure.
Yep.
What else you got? Is that the last one?
That's it. That's all I got for this movie.
All right, should we do the popcorn rating?
Yep.
All right. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I can go first.
All
This
right, do
movie,
it.
without even putting in a lot of thought, it was an easy extra small for me.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Do we have an extra
Okay.
small? I think we have an extra
Yeah,
small.
we do.
Yeah.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Um,
The makeup,
so
the makeup and the
Brad Cooper.
cinematography and the acting, they kind of make this the extra small instead of the kids for me. So
Right. The kids is bigger,
no, the kids is smaller.
smaller. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
extra small.
Kids is smaller.
Um, I feel
Yeah.
like Bradley Cooper saved this movie a little bit. And like you said, the cinematography, and there were aspects of this movie that were kind of interesting. So I'm grappling with this, and I've actually kind of changed it a little bit, but I'm going to go with a small, but like on the larger end, like just kind of like creeping up towards a medium, you know, because there were things that saved this movie, but uh this is a hard pass Ciola for me. But Brad Cooper, I must say Brad Cooper deserves a nom. Good for him. You know, I wish him all the best of luck. So I guess that brings us to the mom joke of the day.
Woohoo.
Woohoo, the good part. I wouldn't say
Mhm.
that. I shouldn't say the good part, but um what's Beethoven's favorite fruit?
Fruit?
Mhm.
Um,
Come on, Jeff. You got it. You got this one.
no idea.
Banana. Okay.
All right. You can check us out on YouTube and we're on Spotify. For social media, we have TikTok and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, so that's where you can
Yep.
find us.
Thank you, lovelies, for watching. And we're out for another week. Popcorn Patrol out. Peace.